It's been a little while since we released our last video. COVID has made things very, very difficult. In the past, people did a lot of videos for us, and I asked, how come you feel comfortable doing these videos? And they said, well, the only people who would be looking for hair replacement videos like these are guys like myself. And so I'm very comfortable. Since COVID, that's completely been turned on its head, and my daughter's getting hair replacement videos popping up in her Instagram feed just randomly, so people aren't as comfortable doing videos. But we've brought Jay back with us. Jay was one of the original videos that we did back in the day. Remember, we are the OGs when it comes to the hair replacement videos. We started back in 2001. And when YouTube started, we started releasing our videos there. And we hope you guys really like this. So we're going to walk you through the difference between New Roots and most other places. And the reason I know most other places is I've worked at a lot of them through my career. So typically when you walk into a hair replacement shop, they're going to show you a video of a bunch of people who are wearing hair systems, jumping around in the water and having a good time. But you're not going to actually get to see the product on yourself. Other places will show you their product in your hands and then draw a circle on your head. Take a piece of cellophane, some tape, create a template for you, and you're going to basically be pooping in your pants for the next 8 weeks because you got no idea what that's going to look like. Right? So what we do here is we're not magicians, and we don't know just off the top of our head all the time what hair is going to look best on you. So what we do is we try a variety of different hairlines, and we let you in the mirror decide what's going to look best. And once you find the right one, you'll know you found it, and we're going to show you that process today. So Jay, first time here, never been here before, doesn't know anything about hair replacement. And so we show them the different systems that we recommend. I like the lace systems way more than the skin for a whole bunch of reasons. I'm watching these new videos online, they're hilarious, where people just pouring ounces of glue all over the system and then on the guy's head and just putting it on there. And it's like, that's gonna stink, and that's gonna be a mess to clean, and your scalp's not gonna breathe at all. So I prefer the lace systems versus the skin ones. The skin ones do have some benefits, and they're making them thinner and thinner, and they do look great. But the no breathability and the glue all over your head, again, it looks all right, I guess, when they're putting it on, but they've never shown one being taken off, and it's not really that pretty. So let's move on to what we're doing here. And so again, I pulled out 4 different hair lines. Some are completely different than others, and others are similar. And again, the shape of the V and the way that it connects into the temple lines, making it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle. So you just want it to fit in perfect without the eye attracting to anything that's not perfect. And so I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. So we're going to take this one over here. This one has a lot of recession, and it has 2 end pieces coming down. This works really, really great if Jay's sides were a little bit weaker. But since he has a little bit of weakness in here, we're going to go with this one first and see what that's going to look like. So there you go. Super natural. So now that we have the hairline here, we can both see what it looks like, and then we can move it around. Okay. At times we get customers to take some pictures and ask the customer, how's that feeling on you? Now, me personally, I like the way that the hairline here is looking. I think he's getting a little bit too much recession in the scalp for a younger look. I think that if he was a little bit older, again, this would be great. So let's move to something that's going to still give him a bit of recession, but ties into his own hair a little bit better. So here you go. So now we can see this system here has a little bit less hangover on the side, a little bit more recessed, suits his face quite nicely. But again, it's giving him a little bit of an older look, and when we discussed things before he came in, we wanted to go with a little bit more youthful look. So now we're going to start stretching out this V a little bit more. Now another thing is typically when you're looking for hair and hair pieces and styles, you want to start at the hairstyle first. If you want a Brad Pitt hairstyle and you want my sort of recession, it's never going to work. Like, there's just too much open space. And so knowing how you want to style your hair before will really help, even when we're looking at the different hairlines, to see if that Brad Pitt hairline is going to suit you. So like I said, I think this looks really good. It looks really natural, but it's still giving us a little bit of recession in here that I want to see if we remove it, if it's going to look more natural or less natural. And these are like the small, the devil's in the details things that you can't see with it, again, when you're drawing a circle on your head. And it takes 3 to 4 months to make these hair pieces. So if there's an error, you're going to be waiting. So this takes a lot of the guesswork out. Both myself and the customer know exactly what's coming in. And when we do design our template, the only thing that he'll be anxious of is excitement, because he knows what's coming. All right, so let's move to something that's going to give him a little bit more coverage in the temples. Now, we don't have the perfect color all the time for people, but it's enough to give you a really good idea of what that'll look like. So I like that. I like the way that that looks. I like the way it's coming across the hairline, and again, a lot less recession in the temples as well. And now let's move into the last one. This one's going to have the most coverage across the temple area and be a little bit more like that Beckham, Brad Pitt hairline that we were talking about. Just a little bit of leave-in conditioner so the hair's out of my way. So which one did you like the best, Jay?
I like this one a lot, and actually I like the one with the recession as well. It's just a different style. Mm-hmm. I think actually each one I could probably wear and feel comfortable with, but having the option I can pick the best for me in the moment. And for me, it's this one or that a little bit more recession one.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to look at them one more time, and then once Jay decides which one he likes the best, that's the template that we're going to use in order to create his mold. Now, another thing is also the density of hair, right? So not only are we seeing the hairline itself, but also the amount of hair. Each one of these systems has a different amount of hair in it as well. And again, myself and the customer can see what those densities will look like. Obviously, the more hair the system has, the little bit longer it will last, but it has to also agree with the rest of the puzzle so that everything fits in the way it's supposed to. Now, I like this one personally the best, but let's go back to this one here one more time. This one's actually very nice too. Yeah. So again, this one here just has a little bit more recession.
Mm-hmm. I think, you know, as I get a little bit older and I keep seeing you, this will probably be something I'll eventually have. But if I can get away with a little bit more density,
mm-hmm. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do a couple of videos?
Okay.
We'll do the less recessed one today.
Sure.
And then next time we can bring our crew in and we'll do a more recessed one.
For sure. Yeah.
Great time. First thing we're going to do is we're going to line up the hair to where the customer wants it, and just always work in real time so that, again, we're taking the guesswork out of things and we're working with what we're seeing versus what we think we're seeing. So we're just going to use a eyeliner or lip liner to trace out the design. This one doesn't seem to be agreeing with me too much. So again, we're just going to play around with the placement. So we'll start super low, and obviously you guys can see that that doesn't look right. And then as we bring the hair up and up, and up, and then we'll surpass where it's supposed to go. Okay, and then we'll move it down just a bit. So I personally think somewhere around here is going to be best. But again, working together with the customer is super important. And then we can bounce ideas off of each other. Again, there is no right. Like, I've been wrong before, and the customer's like, I want it further back, or I want it more lower, and the job ended up looking fantastic. And so, getting input as to what the customer's seeing in the mirror is the most important thing.
I'm actually really happy with this, and I think your initial instinct is to bring it lower because it's it looks more, I guess, younger. But the goal is age appropriate and just natural, and so I think this is a little bit more bang on.
I think that also by coming across the hairline versus receding, again, we can go up a little higher, and you're still getting that fullness across the whole spectrum of the forehead. Exactly. And it's tying in really nice into your sides without giving you anything too low.
Yep. So it's and versatile for different styles too if you want to brush it back.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Yeah.
Now, the last system that you had from us lasted you, what, about 6-7 months?
I was gentle with it, Nick, but yeah, 6-7 months or so, and even then it was still looking still pretty good. So very happy with it, and so they're quality systems. You're not going to need to replace it every month or every 2 months, so you're getting something good.
Now, if you're ordering one of our systems and you're having to do this at home, obviously getting some help would be great. But again, starting at the hairstyle itself really gives people an idea of how this thing is going to get put together. Like I said, if I lost my hair and I was following what stubble that I had left, the hairstyles I'd be able to create with this wouldn't be much. And I don't think that it would make it look more or less natural. It's just like the amount of hair. The next thing a lot of people say to me is like, I want less hair. And again, even though that makes sense, like I don't have a lot of hair on the top of my head, but when the hair collapses on top of each other, it gives an appearance of fullness, even though there's not a lot of fullness there. And a lot of it depends on how you're styling it. If I were to comb it back, it would look less full. If I were to comb it forward, it looks more full. So even though the system has less hair in it, depending on, again, the way that you're styling it, even with very little hair, it could look full. So now that we've designed the hairline, we're going to just double check it one more time. Yep. And now we're going to create our template. So just a piece of cellophane. If you're working on your own, you want it super long, and you want to wrap it around your head, and then kind of tie it in a knot underneath your chin, pull it nice and tight, and you can start working and drawing up here. It's kind of cute, right? If you got somebody to help you, it's always nice. And this is another thing about hair replacement. I think that there's just so much advertising of it going on nowadays, and then people can see that it looks great, and it's becoming more and more fashionable, which is fantastic. Like, I can't wait for the day that when people wear hair systems, they're like so comfortable with it, and they're just like, yeah, I lost my hair, and then one day they come in with long hair, and a couple weeks later they'll have short hair, and just take like full advantage of what it means to be able to like switch out your. So now that we have that on, we already have our design underneath. So we're just going to trace that out. Now, a lot of times you can see where the natural crown is on the scalp, and typically I like to follow that. The hair can be designed either with polyurethane perimeter like this. If you're doing a polyurethane perimeter, don't square it off. That square will mess up your hairstyling. You want to kind of round it off, just like I did there. And now this is some fiberglass tape. And we're going to apply 3 layers, one forward, one sideways, and one forward again. Now, in case you do have like a slopey scalp, you want to maybe put a couple squares right here so that a nice slope. And the factory gets to see exactly how your scalp is shaped. 3 layers works best. You could use more if you like. But the tape is actually fantastic, and it's available at Uline, Home Depot, different places. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But again, technology in the near future, I think, will allow us to get a much better handle on the template, the scalp size, and all the little nooks and crannies just by using some of that new technology out there. Another thing is we're also looking for influencers. So if there's any influencers out there, I see a lot of you guys out there showing people how to take care of your hair systems. Thank you. You guys have really, really helped a lot. And I would like some honest feedback on our systems. And sometimes having people who aren't associated with you trying your stuff out and then giving customers honest feedback is something that I really, really like. It's the only way we kind of improve. And so again, please give me a shout out here in Toronto, my email, or on my phone, which is at the bottom of this video, and I would be happy, pleasure to create something for you. You can let go, brother. Thank you. You can see that's got his head shape pretty good. I'm just going to cut that out. And that should be like a perfect fitting template. And then we're just going to take our original model and just superimpose that on top. And just make sure that everything's lining up the way it's supposed to. Now sometimes the original model and the way that it ties into the customer's hair is a little different. So we'll tie that in to each person individually. So that is your intro. Now, fortunately, we do have a system for Jay here today. Normally you'd be waiting a couple of months for us to create this for you. We're going to take a hair sample, and like I said, we're going to decide together on the densities and the waves. Each of these hair systems has a slightly different wave pattern as well. And you have a really, really good idea of what you're getting and what you're waiting for. And like I said, you're part of the whole process, and your input is there from the beginning to the end. All right, so thank you very much for checking that out. And we're going to go into our next segment. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, Jay. Hey, what's going on, guys? You caught me getting ready. So time's flown and 3 months have passed, and lo and behold, Jay's system is here. So this is the mold. This is the hair system that we created from the mold. I'm going to just trim this piece of lace off, mark it, and we're going to apply it and start doing our haircut. So let's get going. So I missed you guys. It's been a long time. I'm glad I'm back. And like I said, if we get a few influencers and a few other models coming forward, then I'll see you a lot more often, which will be pleasurable for me. Let me get my razor. So first thing, whenever you're trimming the lace on a hair system, never use scissors. Scissors have 2 blades on them, and chances are you're going to cut some of this hair, and it's going to stop the hairline from looking as natural as it could. So we're going to use a razor, and we're going to cut it from the inside. You can see from the bleach knotting where the lace ends. So I'm just going to put on my glasses. First time. I'm getting older, so there's 2 different ways to do it. One is running the razor across the hair, and if you're not comfortable or not new, you're going to just lay that razor down where you want it, and then you're going to pull from the back. And those are the 2 different ways that you can trim the lace out. Now the next most important thing is mark it before you put any adhesive on it. A lot of guys make this mistake where they think they know their hair. They even see a little bit of red left over from when they took the system off last time, and they try to go with that, and if they're off by just a smidge, the system's not going to look right. So first thing, most important things, mark it before we put it on. So again, I'm just going to take a little bit of leave-in conditioner so the hair stays out of my way. Now we're just going to mark it. We still have our mark off from last time, so pretty much right on the money. Now there are different methods of attachment. Like I said in my template video, I'm seeing people pouring glue all over the customer's scalp and all over the system. It looks kind of nasty. Like bacteria likes to grow in warm, dark, moist places, and that's just creating the perfect environment. So if you are going to go with the skin system, I still recommend taping the perimeter and the front. If the system's not fitting properly, you can put a small piece of adhesive here and here, but again, laying glue all over the whole head just for a little bit more adhesion isn't really worth it. So today we're going to be attaching the system with tape. We're not going to be using any adhesive, but when we do use adhesive, we do use the medical adherent Permarite. This turns into a rubber on the hair. It does not stick to the skin and is one of the more expensive but the healthiest way to attach a system permanently. And like I said, this actually sticks to your existing hair and doesn't stick to your scalp. So it's on nice and strong and nothing's preventing your scalp from functioning properly. So the red tape, as most people know, is a liner. It doesn't have a lot of strength adhesion-wise. It'll hold for a couple of days. But it does do a great job of protecting the perimeter of a plastic or polyurethane perimeter system like what we created today for Jay. If it was an all lace system, you'd be using a lace tape similar to this blue one, or there's no shine and a couple of other ones. But again, these are way more healthy because you can change them more often. Again, a lot of people associate changing the system with a mess. That's because they leave it too long. And typically when you leave it a long time and the glue starts to disintegrate, it's a little bit more messy to clean. But if you're on top of it every 4 or 5 days, especially around the perimeter and in the front, the adhesive comes off super quick and it's very, very easy to clean. So I'm going to lay my adhesive out. And just go around the perimeter. And if there's any little overhang like this, don't bother touching them. We'll deal with those after. Now another thing is never connect the adhesive in the back with the adhesive in the front. By leaving the front and back separated even by a millimeter, you can change the frontal adhesive without necessarily changing the back if you're in a hurry, allowing you to keep the most sensitive part of the system nice and clean and looking fantastic. So again, we're going to press the adhesive in place, and then you can bend the material here and just peel the backing off. And do that all the way around. And then those little pieces that we were talking about here, just going to fold them up and disappear right into the material, to the tape. So here. And now we're going to overlay our super strength tape right on top of the red adhesive. And again, if this blue tape melts, it's going to melt right on top of that stronger red adhesive and make the cleanup super easy and quick. Now these things almost failed me, but buy these. These are called Teflon scissors. They sell them at Walmart, Home Depot, even at the dollar store, and they will save you a lot of headaches. The tape doesn't stick to these regular scissors. I'm cleaning for 20 minutes after every couple of slices. So Teflon scissors, great investment. Now we're going to remove the backing of our blue tape. Now this blue tape's fantastic. It's extra strong. It's excellent in water and will last 7 to 10 days. I do advise changing it before then, but if you're going on vacation and don't mind a few extra minutes of cleanup, then this is the tape for you. Now here in the front, I like to add this product here. It's called Skin Prep. This will actually create a coating on the lace, allowing the adhesive to stick on there quite nicely. I'm just going to dry it with a dryer. And whether you're using tape or glue, this really works well. In the front, I'm going to go with our no shine tape. It's got a nice dull finish. Looks fantastic. Now the tape shape doesn't really matter that much. Once you cut the tape in half, you can manipulate it to fit. Another thing is, don't put the tape in front of the lace. You want to keep it back about 1 millimeter. That'll give a nice natural look to it. And like I said, don't attach these two sections. And just keep it a little bit away so that you can change it if need be. And all these small little things we can fill in after. Now another thing you can do is create a template. So you can take this piece of tape, trim it, match it up to your front, and then keep this inside of your tape pack, and then pull out a piece of tape. You can superimpose your template on top and either mark it or cut it straight on there. And this way you can get a perfect fit without having to play around too much each time that you do it. Now we'll just fill up that small little corner. Now I'm not so worried about here as I am making sure that that front edge is nice and tight. Alright, so now we're ready to apply the system. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to dull out our mark. This way we know where it's going, but nobody else can actually see it. The hair that's here and the perimeter, you could leave, but when you remove the hair system, it's going to pull on the hair a bit. So you want to remove it. If you're removing it at home, you don't have to go all the way down to the back. You can kind of stop here, and again, it'll just be a little bit of pulling, and again, a little bit of that adhesive remover will take that all out. But if you guess wrong and you shave too far into your hair, that'll be problematic. So, you know, again, stop here, use your finger, kind of like to hold where your hair loss is, and then you can run your machine up to that part. And again, give your scalp a nice clean surface to adhere the hair system to. So we're just going to remove these hairs here. I'm just going to refer back to our template. Make sure that everything is fitting there the way it's supposed to. So now we're going to add a little bit of antiperspirant. Now, whether you're doing it at home, this product's from the guys who make the Ghost Bond. It's a mild antiperspirant. This is a little bit expensive. You guys can also buy Air It Extra Dry Right Guard for $5 at Walmart and other stores like that. But I wouldn't spray that directly on my scalp. I'd spray it on a cloth and then wipe it on the scalp. And that'll prevent you from sweating anywhere from 8 to 12 hours, allowing the adhesive that you're using to really bond without being affected by any of the activities you're doing during the day. So this one is a much more mild solution, and again we can spray that on, and again it's just a little bit of antiperspirant that's going to help the adhesive stick on and bond to the scalp properly. And then we're going to add a little bit of the skin prep to the scalp as well. And these are both scalp protectors and, like I said, an antiperspirant, and it's going to help our adhesive do its job and bond to the scalp and hold on nice and tight. And with these two things, again, there's no need to put adhesive all over the whole head. All right. So Jay's kind of a tall guy. I'll just put him down just a little bit here. And tilt this head back just a little bit. And following the mark that we had created, we're going to find that, lay it out. And again, before you commit, just want to double check everything, make sure that it's sitting in the right spot. And then just press that down. Now, if you're making your first hair system here or somewhere else, I'd advise to make it a 1/4 inch bigger than you'd like. This way, again, when the system comes in, you have a little bit of play. If the system, again, we want to have it a little bit smaller, we can just trim a little bit of the back material off to have it slide back a bit. And again, it gives you a little bit of choice when you're back, in case you've changed your mind on something. It's easier to take something off than add it. So yeah, just a little bit of leave-in conditioner. Just make sure that everything's pressed in place properly. Something's here over me here. So like I was saying regarding the jigsaw puzzle, like if you look at the way that the hair comes together, it's like it's very seamless, right? Like your eye's not really attracted by anything. Everything is just kind of flowing. And that's kind of how you know that you've created the correct hairline. If something's sticking out, if something's catching the eye, another thing that I like to do is look away from the customer and then look at the customer. If the first thing I see is the hair's too low and the hair's not in the right spot. The hair should be the background, not the focal point of the face. So a lot of you guys are going to hate me and you're going to hate Jay, but Jay wants to go with a short style today.
Well, medium style.
Everybody's like, you should have left it long. I love the way it looks when it was long. All right, so we're going to start doing our haircut. Now again, when people are cutting your hair, especially with hair systems, and they start pulling out those slitting scissors and chopping away, like please ask them to stop. You know, a little bit of texturizing, a little bit of thinning in an area or two. But I've seen some videos online too where they're just hacking away at the hair system with a set of thinning shears, and that's not going to give you a great haircut.
I think the first one we did was more medium, kind of that medium cut.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one looked really great. It was just very natural and versatile as well. So.
What do you mean back when you were a young whippersnapper? That was pretty long.
Yeah, that was 7 years ago, actually. Yeah.
Crazy how the world's changed in 7 years, eh?
But I still have great hair, though.
Yeah, that's right.
At least I got that.
Now the reds are super difficult to get because their hair keeps changing color as the months go on, and I think that we did a great job. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And again, any influencers out there, any people who want to come in and be a model for us, be really nice to have you. So send us an email, let us know you're interested, and we'll create something for you that you'll be proud to wear. This is Nick signing off, and Jay, thank you so much again, brother.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it.
We'll see you next time.
So how long have you been coming to the studio?
Probably like 7 years now. Yeah, 7 or 8 years.
How do you like it so far?
Nick is an artist. You know, you're going to leave with something you're really happy with. And I would say that the hair that I have from the shop is better than the hair that I was born with. You're going to get better hair than what you have for sure.
Amazing. Thank you.